From the highest point of the spire, and by extension the highest point in Aru, one could mistake the second oldest Calrosian and Lokan town for being alive. And no one can judge those who make this mistake, as from this high point you couldn't see people. You could only see the buildings, the walls, the docked ships, the farms stretched out beside the lake, all that was left, a remnant of a once great town. Once you got closer, down on the streets, you would realize that the reason you cannot see people from up there is because you cannot see people down here either. Now, when I say alive, I must admit that the second oldest Calrosian, and Lokan, town was indeed not yet dead, but close enough that the term alive isn't exactly proper. Therefore, from here on out we shall refer to Aru as alive-ish, as that's at least more optimistic than dead-ish. But both terms have at least in common that they are describing something that is fully, solidly, and unarguably not dead, which is quite different from being dead. When someone or something is dead, that's it. Their story is ended. But when something is not dead, it's not yet over. This is what Jiroi Alduin Talangon, High Queen of Aru, was pondering, sitting on the highest point of the spire with her feet dangling off the edge, when a voice called out behind her. "Mother, I'm home." Jiroi looked over her shoulder to see Thanius Ronshad Alduin Talangon, offering her a weary smile. The smile you give someone when you're not sure whether they're going to yell at you or hug you. The smile was appropriate, however, as either of those things was equally possible. You see, Thanius was Jiroi's son, and Aru's runaway prince, who had not been back in the town of his birth for many years, instead favoring to roam the southern continent. Neither of these things happened, however, as the Queen of Aru merely sighed. "Hey, Thani, it's good to see you," she said, turning her body to face him. He nodded and sat beside her, and they looked out over the city. "Father said you'd be up here," he mentioned, gaze captivated by the flickering lights of the street lanterns below. "He also said Aru's having a rebirth. That's wonderful news." Jiroi took a deep breath and let it out, as if trying to blow out a candle that was on the moon. "That's what I wanted to do," she began, and sighed. "But now I'm wondering if it's not just a better idea to abandon her. Aru has grown old, and I with her. Being here, seeing this empty city is just sad. Look at all the buildings, abandoned and empty. I just don't know what to do. Ah!" In a not-so-clever moment of frustration, she punched the wood beneath her as hard as she could. Thanius grimaced. "Did that help?" he asked. "Yes," she replied, despite the fact that it did not help. "Did that hurt?" he pressed. "No," she answered, despite the fact that it did indeed hurt. She cradled her hand for a moment before turning to her son, who had looked back down at the city. "I think what you need is some remodeling," he said, finally facing her. "You think so?" she asked. "I do. It would take care of that feeling you described. The empty buildings. What if we got rid of them? Get rid of the bad memories," he explained. "Some of them have very, very good memories, too," Jiroi murmured, lost in thought. "Then you tell me which ones I can remodel and which I can't touch." "After all, what good is having an architect for a son if he can't help his parents?" he grinned. Jiroi offered him a warm smile in return. "Thanius, architect of Aru's future?" He shook his head. "Thanius, Aru's runaway prince."